Boyfriend, 24M, always asks me, 24F, to keep my bra on or push my boobs together when we have sex. It makes me feel self-conscious but not sure if it's worth bringing up. Too long didn't read. Do I even bring this up, or is it an insecurity I just work on and get over? Boyfriend likes my boobs pushed together. So we've been together for about 3 years and have shared an apartment for about a year and a half. Everything is great and I feel so loved and valued by him. We have an active sex life and no complaints there at all. The only thing is that he asks me to keep my boobs pushed together or in a bra during sex. It's not a big deal for me to do so, but it makes me feel bad that my boobs don't look good enough, I guess. I'm a natural 34D, so my girls are big and gravity does its thing when I lie on my back and they kind of slide to the side, if you know what I mean. Based on what I've seen in real life and online, my boobs aren't really abnormal or deformed in any way. They're just big and real, so they don't stay in place. Do I even bring this up with him, or is this just kind of a silly thing? I don't know. Just makes me self-conscious, but at the same time we have such a great relationship and I wouldn't want him to feel like he's done such a bad thing, and I'm worried he would take it that way. I just don't understand why he asks me to do it. I think this one of those things that you'll need to communicate on. You deserve to feel attractive, and it's going to eat away at you potentially, and you need to be able to talk about these basic needs. A healthy relationship will stand this. From a guy's perspective though, sounds more like a fetish than anything else. My gut instinct tells me it's nothing of the sort of not looking good enough. But you should ask him, making sure to let him know you don't feel anything is done wrong. To put it in context, it's like if a man likes the way legs look in stockings, so he wants the girl to wear them, but then she's worried he thinks her legs have too many blemishes. It's a legitimate way to feel, but likely misunderstanding the man. Feel, not fee. If it makes you feel bad, you should bring it up, period, no matter how small it may be. Just be respectful and don't jump to immediate hostility, and it should go fine. If he reacts with disrespect and hostility, then there's an issue. This is a conversation you should have with him so that you can understand what he's feeling and thinking. Ask it nonchalantly in a non-sexual situation. Hey, you know how you like me to push my boobs together or wear a bra when we have sex? I'm curious, what is it about that turns you on so much? I'm just curious. You're seeking to understand, not to accuse or anything. Avoid something like, I hate when you ask me to push my boobs together. That doesn't lead the conversation anywhere productive. He'll get defensive. Now, when he tells you something like that he likes the way they look like that, you may take that as a time to say something like, okay, I hear you and I like turning you on with my boobs, but I feel a little self-conscious sometimes when I push them together for you. I feel like there's something wrong with them if I don't. You've stated your feelings and actions without saying anything about him. This should help keep him from being defensive. Relationship pro tip: if it bothers you, it is worth bringing it up. Okay, so my husband is super into the pushed together thing, too. I used to not say anything to him because I was self-conscious. Finally one day it just annoyed me, talking 10 years ago when we first started dating, and I moved his hands, after I just finally brought it up and asked why it had to be like that all the time. He looked like I hit him over the head with a pan. He had no idea that it made me feel self-conscious, and stopped doing it. After that discussion, I felt so much better and would let him push them together, or even push them together myself, knowing he was into it. And then sometimes I don't and he could give a shit, so definitely talk to him. You'll find out if it's just something he thinks is hot and has no clue that it makes you uncomfortable, or if he's a huge asser and doesn't care. I, 33 meters, found out that my ex, 33F, was cheating on me with multiple men. Bit of background first, my ex and I have been best friends since the age of 15. From the moment we met, we were completely inseparable. We actually didn't get together as a couple until we were 24, but she's my oldest and closest friend and has been the most important person in my life, one way or another, for my entire life. As the title says, I found out that during our relationship she cheated on me with many other men. I first heard something from a mutual friend of ours, who told me that he was disappointed with some of her behavior. He wouldn't tell me the details, so I asked her myself and she decided to come clean about what really happened during the 7 years while we were together. Over the course of one horrifying, devastating evening she told me everything, every man she had cheated on me with, who they were, how she met them, where and when they had sex, how many times they had sex, and even details of some of the more extreme sexual acts she engaged in with them. Some were just one-night stands, but others she went back to multiple times. All of the sex was unprotected, putting both her health and mine at risk. One of the other men even got her pregnant. At the time, she told me that the baby was mine, but insisted that she get an abortion. Together, we went through the painful process of aborting what I believed was my child. She was able to cheat on me so many times because of her job. She works in hospitality, think hotels, restaurants, and so used to work late/odd hours and go out for very late nights with her colleagues. I wouldn't see her on those evenings or know where she was. She told me that she kept her phone in her bag on these nights out and told me not to expect any replies if I tried to message or call her. She never told any of her collages that she had a partner, despite being with me for many years, so none of them thought she was doing anything wrong. In her own words, she wanted to have her cake and eat it, enjoy the singles life while also being in a serious, long-term relationship with me. We broke up a couple of years ago, after a long battle of trying to convince her to curb her partying habits, and went back to being close friends. Regardless, what she told me left me completely devastated. For the first week after she told me, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't concentrate on anything at all, and would just burst into tears whenever I was alone. When I did sleep, my dreams were terrible nightmares of her engaging in some of the acts she described to me with other men. It was so incredibly painful to find out that she had done all of this, especially since I had always told her that cheating was the one thing in a relationship that I could never tolerate. It's now been many months since I found out, and I'm still really struggling. Only now do I feel able to even talk about this. I find myself filled with a deep, overwhelming sadness every single day. Thoughts of her are still the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning and last thing on my mind at night. If I don't have something to distract me during the day, thoughts of her will fill my head. Even though the relationship was already over when she told me, it now feels like the whole relationship was a lie. I've had those 7 years of my life taken from me, and I've lost my best friend too. Thoughts about her and what she did still dominate my mind. They've completely destroyed my confidence and are causing huge disruption in my job and in other personal relationships. Any comments or thoughts on how I can better cope with the situation would be much appreciated. Edit. Firstly, I just want to say such a huge thank you to everyone who has taken the time to leave a message about this. I wasn't quite sure what the reaction would be, but I have been completely overwhelmed by how thoughtful, sympathetic, constructive and encouraging the replies have been. I've read every single comment, and I'm going to try to reply to some of the more frequent suggestions and questions here. A few of you have asked if I'm still speaking to her. The answer is no, not currently. We stayed in contact for a couple of months after she told me, but I found it too hard, and so we agreed to break contact and that I would contact her again if/when I felt able to. The past few months have shown me that I don't think that this can happen. Regarding the suggestions that I've received, 1. Cut all contact with her. I'm working on it. We don't share any social media now, and I have treated myself to a new phone which will be completely free of her. 2. Get into therapy. Done. I've been in therapy for months now. My therapist has been great and has definitely helped me get over the very worst of this. 3. Get checked for STDs. I did this the week that I found out. I insisted that she got checked too. It turns out that she hadn't checked herself the entire time that we were together. Thankfully, we both came back clean. 4. Get out and exercise/hit the gym. I'm not normally the fitness type, but at the point that I found out, I started exercising every single day. It was the only thing I could do to combat the nervous energy I was constantly filled with and keep my cortisol levels from going sky high. I've fallen out of the habit now somewhat, but I will get back into it. 5. Vent to people about this. I've done this a little bit. I've got some close friends that I've been able to talk to about this, but I've been hesitant to talk about it too much, simply because I feel too much shame and guilt for having having let someone trick me like this. This is actually one of the reasons why I made this post in the first place. I really needed to find a way to speak about what happened in a way that didn't really embarrass me. 6. See her for what she really is. Understand that the image of her that I built up in my mind and the person that she really is are two completely different people. I am going to make sure that I keep this in mind. So thank you all, again, for your kind and supportive words. It's really helping me work through this. I really appreciate it. Cut contact with her permanently. Block her on everything. Don't look at her social media. Vent to friends, even if they're mutual friends, if you need to, but don't give her another moment of your time. You had the unfortunate bad luck of meeting a demented individual who was devoid of empathy and personality responsibility. That is not a reflection on you or your future relationships. Therapy is an option if you need it. I do suggest you lean into new friendships and relationships so that you have new experiences besides what she did to you. You were traumatized by the situation. Get yourself into therapy, it'll really help you. Only other option is to let your feelings run their course with time and distance. Therapy will speed along your recovery. Go get therapy. She is a terrible person, and was never your best friend. Wow, what a shit show. I'm so sorry. Get therapy to determine how to move on from here. I'd also get an STD check. Wow, I'm sorry I can't stop saying wow. This was fucked skeptical. Is privacy important in a relationship? My boyfriend says I don't need any privacy from him. My boyfriend is constantly going through my purse and car when I'm asleep. He looks at receipts, all of my stuff, literally everything. If he sees I went to the store without telling him, even if I don't think it's a big enough deal to tell him, he twists and turns it into me lying to him. I told him it's a huge invasion of my privacy and that if he wants to see something, just ask. He said he gets bad feelings and that I don't need privacy while in a relationship with him. I think that's so wrong. What should I do? I don't like feeling like every time I sleep, he's snooping around my belongings. And no, I don't have anything to hide. I appreciate the advice. Run, now. Do not even wait a minute. Tell him you are done and not to contact you. Block him on everything. Get out and go to stay with family, friends, anyone. Take your important papers and valuables. Abandon anything you can't pack. Tell your friends and family that he is history and for them not to talk to him about you. You are right. He is wrong. This is abusive. Leave him ASAP. It's literally illegal, by the way. This is unhealthy. While you're not hiding anything, you're also not being trusted or valued. Privacy should absolutely be something everyone is given from their partner. Going through your purse/car with the sole intention of checking on you, getting upset about a simple errand he was unaware of, these are all huge red flags that you will not be treated as an equal, or an adult for that matter. You are being abused. Get out now. Please find people you can trust and tell them what is going on and get yourself out of this situation.